Well, hey, welcome to the show before the show, where I check to make sure everything is working. I'm your host, Patrick Marlette, your local game guy and 80s wedding singer. You can thank my barber. Here I am, Will-less today. Hey, Will, if you're watching. He is not going to be joining us tonight, sadly, so don't expect him. It's just you and me for the next however many hours it takes to set Sythis straight. So, I built this deck on the channel. My God. I feel like the last card I added was Trudge Garden. And I think that had to be like 2.5 or 3 years ago. Like a while ago. So if you saw that, I haven't modified this deck since. And as we know, WotC really loves pushing sets yearly. So I'm behind, and we have a little bit of catching up to do. I hear Delny's good for the deck, and there's a few new enchantments that we should likely consider. So really how we're going to start today is just by looking at the base deck, seeing what we had there, what combos we're relying on. The only combo I can think of in recent date that I would want to incorporate in Sythis that I think is a nice way to close out games is Lean and Relic Water in pre-war formal wear. And that's not even like a great option because we have the tutors for the creature, but we don't really have anything for the artifact. We sort of just have to fish that out of our list, which should be easy enough, right? Maybe? I don't know. We're going to get there though. If there are any enchantment-based combos, obviously, tell me. I would love to hear them. Other than Earthcraft, because I don't own the card anymore and I don't want to buy it again. This deck is something that I'm likely going to make in paper, so let's make it good. At any rate, I'm going to just take you guys over to Sythis so we can give her a look. Give her a little gander so we all know what I'm talking about. You can see the thumbnail. It's pretty obvious who we're talking about, but if you've never seen her, this is Sythis Harvest's Hand. So she's Selesnyan, 1/2 body. Legendary enchantment creature nymph. She's good when we cast her into other enchantresses. Obviously, we're probably going to focus her. I don't usually recommend keeping the Citizen Champion or whatever in a starting hand unless you have a Mana Crypt, which we'll be taking out. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you gain 1 life and draw a card. So there's 2 things happening. They're both maybe not equally good, but they're both good. The gaining life is nice. There are things that say when you gain life, you may do such and such. I don't think we were using any of those effects unless you can think of one that's really good. Obviously, we're going to look through a lot of cards today, so we're really just going to build this out as we go along. All the cards we incorporate from here on out, we're going to take a beat afterwards to cut things. So we're going to keep 99 going for a little while. Are you currently based in Hawaii, or is it just where you're from? I was raised in Hawaii. I bought this shirt last time I was in Hawaii with my wife. It's a pretty bad shirt. I think I bought it from a Target there. Where was I? We were on the Big Island. Maybe it wasn't a Target. It was some grocer though. And they just had, I needed just a cheap shirt for whatever reason. This was the shirt. Now I just wear it as a house shirt. Thanks for noticing though. Yeah, the Big Island's great. Oh my God. Shout out Broke to Mouth. I missed that spot. So we're also getting life and we're also drawing a card. Do with that information what you will. I think the drawing the card's probably the more important part, right? Sounds like it made a good trip. It did. The trip back, the trip there, the entire trip was great. I proposed to my then girlfriend at the time. Yeah, that was 2 years ago now. Time flies by way too quickly. Speaking of, it flew by really fast on this girl. Again, we haven't updated her since it had to be 2021. Tapped Out still says it's 99% competitive. Must be these banned cards that it's discrediting the list for. However, we're going to remove those in a second. I'm not too worried about them now. I do want to take a quick look at the deck with you guys, just see what it's doing. I see Heliod and I see Walking Ballista. Okay, well that's one thing. Does she like creature-based combos? You know, I feel like any green list is going to want creature-based combos, and white really tends to lean towards artifacts. Neither of which Sythis or Selesnya in general are good at grabbing outside the creatures. Outside the creatures. And that's sort of why we lean towards them. So we're probably going to lean more towards any sort of creature-specific combos. I don't think that means we run tooth and nail and slam big dumb things, although we could. The beauty of this list and what I liked about it when I played it in the past was that you can run cards like Root Maze that are really effective at slowing the game down. You know, these were good against the dark sides of the world. We're going to have a weird time talking about this deck today. This was really good against Dockside when Dockside was a legal card. It's still really good though. Lands like basic, non-basic, and artifacts all come into play tapped. So, you know, if you have the leg up on your opponent and you play this turn one, whew, you will enjoy your tapped mana vault, sir. Like there's a number of things that this is detrimental to when it hits. I like Root Maze a lot. We get to leverage a lot of dumb things like this. I think I'm on Deafening Silence as well. Basically, you just get to utilize really low-end, cost-effective stacks pieces, profit, and then build a board. My list, I mentioned the last card I put in was Trudge Garden. I need to read Titania's song. I'm gonna read a revised version of that. So Trudge Garden. So whenever you gain life, you may pay 2. When you do, create a 4/4 fungus beast creature token with trample. Hell yeah. So what my version of the list did was, if it failed to hit its combo, and it's all coming back to me now, which is the Walking Ballista, you can Ranger Captain of Eos this out, and Heliod, who is an enchantment, so he's just good in the deck. There was one line of play there. You usually just went to Beat Street, and it was actually really easy to build a sizable board. We're probably going to move away from that now. I think there's better things to be doing, but Luminarch's Ascension had been a staple at the time for a while, and years past. It's just a cheap, effective means of beating people down, especially when the meta was slower. Nowadays, I don't know if we can go back to these sort of simple strategies. Sigil of the Empty Throne, again, you're making angels. There's plenty of ways to just make a mess of tokens and beat people down, right? Is that what this is for? Or is this just like an additional? Yeah. Whenever Chandelier is tapped for mana, it adds. So it's essentially a wild growth, right? There's a lot of lands that we need to look at. There's a lot of enchantments that we need to look at. I don't know so much creatures. I think it's really just Delny that helps us out, and maybe that one artifact guy from Ixalan, I forget its name, right, to multiply our triggers. But to be honest, like, I don't even think I'm running all of the enchantresses, because I don't even think we need that many enchantresses. I think it's just Citizen's Champion, and where is she? Argothian Enchantress, right? Sort of the core one. We can just look over our creatures really quick. Creatures, enchanted spells you control can't be countered. This is really good when we're setting up our lines of play. Elvish Spirit Guide's pretty self-explanatory. Esper Sentinel, you can never have too much draw. Eternal Witness is great in mono green and split colors sometimes. It's good here. We should see if we have Noxious Revival. Okay, we do. Again, I haven't looked at this list in years, so this is kind of fun for me. Hushbringer. There are better cards than Hushbringer now. I think she'll probably come out. I'm thinking of the there's this one bodyguard or bouncer. There's like that thrall bouncer. This is also for Dockside, but predominantly to be used against Thassa's Oracle as a means of winning your opponents. Nyxbloom, I really can't tell you what I was doing here. I think this just fell into the gross amount of mana category for me. Like, you can cheat this out and then utilize your lands that make a lot of mana to make even more mana and play out your hand. Yeah, now it's making sense. Because part of the issue and what you'll find with Sythis is that you can run out of steam pretty quickly, provided you don't have the mana to continue. Things like Nyxbloom Ancient really help there. This is all really making me think we should also consider untap effects, namely for lands. I think I'm using pretty much every single thing that searches for a land. I think Archdruid's Charm is the last thing to allow for that, but I think I'm even on like Expedition map. Because things like Nyxbloom, sorry, not Nyxbloom, the Ancient, but things like Nykthos Shrine to Nyx are kind of core for the deck, right? And this is a budget-friendly big ramp budget. Jesus, whoa, wow, okay, it's $40 now. I say budget friendly. I had no idea. It was not this expensive before. Ever. That's damn near $50 from Card Kingdom. Jesus, don't buy it there. Sarah Sanctum, I already have my copy of that. I need to buy Guy's Cradle again. This is all, proxy these things. You proxy these things. I would want to play this like out and about, and I would feel much better about myself if I owned the cards. Oh, by the way, I pulled the recent Verge land, which I think we should incorporate from Duskmorn. It's somewhere in front of me. But yeah, I have the new Verge land, so we're definitely going to incorporate that. Whew, okay, there's just so much to talk. I'm gonna catch up with your comments, and I'm gonna go back to this. Sith is not your wife. Does she like creature-based combos? Sith is not your wife. I mean, they both like creature-based combos. Let me tell you. I feel like we could just play Elevere in this and punch people for fun. So if I remember correctly, I've got... Oh boy, do I have a lot of enchantments for us to look through. This is every enchantment to date in order. But let's go ahead and look at Elevere. Is that how you spell her name? I do... She's right here. This Elevere? Here. I just forget how she reads. There's 2 L's, I think. Okay. Elevere of the Wild Court. Whenever Elevere enters the battlefield or attacks, create a virtuous roll token attached to target creature. It gets +1/+1, right? Whenever enchanted creature you control deals combat damage to a player. Enchanted creature. Not enchantment or enchanted creature. I think it's fine. I think she could go in the deck. I don't necessarily know that I want Elevere. Sorry. Here. Yeah, this is how we're going to do it. I don't want to have to try to spell her name again. Yeah. Yeah. Can you read that? You can't read that. I've held on to this. Like, I do like this as a Selesnyan commander. I think that this is a little bit better in the draw category. Because it's not combat dependent. You can just start going as soon as you drop the thing. Pioneer did a number on it. Pioneer did a number on Elevere? Are you trying to go infinite with Sanctum Weaver at all? I bet you it's in my deck, and I bet I did before. Let's read Sanctum Weaver together. Okay. Let's try this again. Sanctum Weaver. Add X mana where X is the number of enchantments you control. That's pretty decent ramp. Infinite in what way? You mean like Village Bellringer / the pony? Or Timir Sabertooth? Emil? Sure, we could do that. Infinite mana in this deck doesn't really mean much until you hit the Walking Ballista, but I mean that is a thing you can do. The infinite we were going for was not dependent on mana initially, but we could pretty easily go for a infinite mana line and then fetch up the Walking Ballista. I don't think that's a bad idea. But so far as combos are concerned, the only ones that exist in this list right now are going to be the Walking Ballista Heliod. And as I mentioned earlier, another thing we could do is Lean and Relic Warder Pre-War Formal Wear, which is just infinite ETBs and LTBs, more or less, which are non-relevant. We really just want, while those triggers are on the stack, to kill it to a blasting station or something like that, right? So that's something we can do that wins on the spot, and that's a new mono-white combo, like this Heliod thing. I don't necessarily love that line of play, but it is something we can do. I think that, so far as creatures are concerned, though, just to piggyback on the idea of creature-based combos, 6 is maybe one of the only creatures in recent date that I really think is good for the list. Potentially, it's low cost. The attack trigger is actually quite nice. The reach is less relevant, but as long as it's your turn, your cards and your permanents in your graveyard have retrace. This is really good. This is really good value into the late game. But I'm not even sure I want to manipulate 6. We'll see. Because the things that we really like to manipulate in this list are... they haven't really been bettered or bested by anything, I should say. Like Whip Silk here. Whip Silk is one of the better things we can leverage. It's just going to go to our hand. It's going to go onto the battlefield. We don't really need to reclaim it. Noxious Revival and Eternal Witness can get it back, and then we can start doing it again. Of course, you could use the Retrace to get this back if for some reason the creature that this was on died. It's this, and it's also the Flickering Ward, right? Flickering Ward's fantastic as well. This is actually a whole lot a bit better. It's sadly not instant speed, but you know, we could add Emergent Zone if we wanted to. I don't think that's necessary. And I believe there are things that let us cast auras at instant speed. But I think at this point in time, with just glazing over the list covered, we can go ahead and start incorporating some new enchantments. So if you have infinite mana and a couple of enchantresses, you just hopefully play your entire deck. Right. So if we did have MEL, and we could just bounce Argothian or bounce Sythis, you know, even I mean, I guess if we had like, is there a good food chain line for this? What do we have? Eternal Scourge. So technically, if there were another enchantress on the battlefield, we could technically like food chain Sythis a million times because she's an enchantment. You know, Argothian enchantress or Citizen Champion would go off and we would draw our deck. That's not a horrible idea. It's not a bad idea. I don't think we go that route. Sanctum Weaver's a bit slow. There has to be a better way to make infinite mana. There is. It's that one green creature that lets us untap a land. Like it in Gaia's Cradle. It's going to come to mind. The green creature that lets us untap a land. We would want to incorporate that if we want to go infinite mana. But even that isn't doing the trick because what you're suggesting requires we are able to cast and recast an enchantment. So it would be like the Whip Silk Gourd, the Shield, Flickering Ward, excuse me. Arbor Elf. Arbor Elf, the one that untaps a land. Oh, yeah, we could do like a Village Bell Ringer with Arbor Elf or something. It untaps a forest. We'll look at untap things in a second. What I want to start with are all these sweet enchantments. Do we use Yogg-Dogg's Will in green? There are a plentiful amount of new enchantments for us to consider minimally. And I think the doors are probably first and foremost on my mind because they're all quite good. The doors, the rooms with doors you can open, whatever. Don't look at Anthem of Champions. It's not out yet. Valgavoth's Lair. I don't think anything cares about enchantments entering. They all, I think, specifically read cast. Let me just read Citizen's Champion again. I think Citizen's Champion is... Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, she cares. I don't know how much I want to slow land, but it is cool that we have a new enchantment land. Just want to point that out there. It's also flexible in its color. It's also hexproof. I think that's largely irrelevant, but I guess it protects it because it's an enchantment that could be targeted. You may play lands from your graveyard with Walk-in Closet, or so it's Ramanab Excavator, or Forgotten Cellar. This is the Yogg-Dog Will card. When you unlock this door, you may cast spells from your graveyard this turn, and if the card would be put into your graveyard, it's exiled instead. So if we're really storming off, this is kind of neat. I don't know that Sythis storms in this way. We would need to build the deck kind of centered around this. I think just Forgotten Cellar is a nice trick to conclude a game at the end of the game. Like, don't fail at this point. Make sure the thing you cast first is a silence and then go for the solution, right? Don't just Forgotten Cellar and like cross your fingers, because when you exile your heal out after they counter it, you're going to feel like a dingus. You may play lands from your graveyard. The lands from your graveyard thing's kind of cute with fetches, but I only think we're on two basics of each typing, and then the shock, and then the true duel, excuse me. So I don't know. Arbor Elf, I'm a little iffy on. Why do we want Arbor Elf as a piece of... Oh, you know what? Actually, we kind of need... I think we do need body ramp pieces. Seed Cradle Witch, managing to tune in for a bit. Hey, Chris. Seed Cradle Witch. We can look at that. Seed Cradle. Ooh, this is an oldie. Untap that creature. Huh. All right, so is the idea that... Oh. Wait. Okay. The untapping a forest is nice. I might sideline that, though. Seed Cradle Witch, though. This is kind of cheeky. So Seed Cradle Witch would really only work... Let's see if we like Seed Cradle Witch. Thank you for suggesting a card from Shadowmoor, by the way. So if we want to go the infinite mana route, I think that Seed Cradle Witch is probably the best bet so far. Threats around every corner, really cool. Dude, if anyone, did anyone out there play Duskmourn pre-release, or like any sealed, any drafts? Dude, this set was super fun to play. I don't know where my packs are, but I opened up some packs with, hey Jared, if you're watching. Manifest Dread is the shit. Manifest Dread is so good. The set was super fun to play. I got that the Ghost Vacuum card as I think one of my pre-release cards, if I'm not mistaken. Or I pulled a foil one. I know that much, dude. That card is sick as hell. I had a freaking army off of that shit. There's also Animate Target Land. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know, like infinite mana. I think I'm just going for enough mana. At least that was my philosophy before. I didn't feel like infinite was necessary. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Draw the deck. It's good. I think you draw enough in most cases, and you have so many triggers going off depending on what you've built out. But we'll see. We'll be testing this. Maybe we want to shoot for infinite mana lines if they're accessible. Enters attack, trade a tap colors token. Nope, don't care about that. Whenever you unlock this door, search for a basic land. All right, so Moldering Gym is essentially you draw, because this would come out after Sythis just based off of its mana cost, right? So you could do this and then play a land slowly from your deck. It doesn't really do anything to affect the game. It's just really bad ramp. At a point where people are trying to win the game, Moldering Gym is interesting. Don't think we want it. Lands you control have add mana of any color. I think that's nice for fixing, but we're only in 2 colors. When you unlock the store, mill 4 cards. You may return. No, that's okay. Not too interested in that one. Root Maze seems crazy for 3 colored decks with all their enters tapped lands. Root Maze is definitely in the deck right now, and I agree with you. It's really good. Holy crap, though, this card. Yeah, I think we add Sheltered by Ghost. So if you guys haven't seen this new one, it's something we covered during our review, but this is so good. For a generic and a white enchantment aura, enchant a creature you control. When it enters, exile target non-land permanent opponent controls until this leaves the battlefield. In the What's More department, it's you're practically going to have to deal with this as opposed to the creature, because normally you just remove the creature and then, you get 2 and 1. But the creature gets +1/+0 and has life link. So Sythis gets life 2 ways. She becomes a 2/2 and has ward 2. The ward 2 on Sheltered by Ghost is such a like, ooh, they're like, nah, you're not gonna hit my shit. I'm sorry. The only thing that could make this better is Flash, and it didn't need it. So this is really good. Sheltered by Ghost is amazing. I highly recommend you use it. It's a good way to slow the game down. So this is Surgical Suite is one that I really like. It only hits creatures, but I do think that this is quite good for us still. Why specifically? Like if we play Surgical Suite, we could bring back, I forget if I'm on Savine's Reclamation in this deck. There's only so many sorceries I ever would incorporate in this list. Like Savine's maybe one. But what I like about this is that it works really well with Ranger Captain Vios, namely. So you can hit like your Esper Sentinel to start, and then you can hit your Walking Ballista later, should you need it. I think you should probably start off strong with Ranger Captain. You're likely going to get the draw engine. And then the Hospital Room is really good in a limited setting. I don't know how much we care about it here, but the +1/+1 counter, maybe it goes to use. All right, Seed Cradle Witch and Destiny Spinner. Destiny Spinner's in the deck too. I like where your head's at though. As an enchanted creature, it's hexproof. This is kind of a cute protection effect. It does really nothing else for us. We don't care about that. That's good in a limited setting. Whenever you unlock this door, create a 1/1 enchantment glimmer token. Don't care about glimmers. Leyline of Hope. If you would gain life, gain that much life +1. If you have 7 or more life than your starting total, which you do, creatures you control get +2/+2. You know, being able to play this for free is not the best thing in the world. Obviously, we kind of want to get more out of these, but ley lines are always nice to consider. They're just good enchantments cast later in the game, or good enchantments when you start with them, obviously. But that one's, it works well hand in hand pretty much with Sythis, but it's not like a life gain strategy I care about for an Anthem. I don't really need that. The Enduring Innocence is interesting. I don't know that we want draw this way. Especially if it's only once a turn, that kind of sucks. I think I pulled Dollmaker's Shop. But creatures you control have base power and toughness, each equal to the toughness of the number. Nope, don't need that. That's more relevant if we do the go wide thing. I do kind of want to orient this new Sythis build to be more combo centric. So we can run the infinite mana, try to draw your deck line of play, which might mean we also incorporate Mesa Enchantress, the white one. I don't think I ran Mesa Enchantress before. It didn't really just mesh with the list as it was. But Mason, I think it's like that's the generic and double white one. We'll include her probably. Also, by the way, the MDFCs. If any of you remember the MDFCs, I think there's a... Isn't there... Well, we might see it if we look through Modern Horizons that way. But which Enchantress? Which Enchanter? And then there's like the... Something Bridge, the green one. Maybe we run some MDFCs. I don't know. Which... I think Witch Enchanter is one of them. Yeah. I'll put Witch Enchanter in here for now. I think we could probably incorporate at least one MDFC. Untap each creature you control during other players' untap steps. So Prop Room and Dazzling Theater, this is maybe better for like the build as it is right now, but Prop Room is kind of good provided we have our things that tap for mana, our dorks, and ways to leverage that mana off turn. Actually don't mind Prop Room in the deck. I don't think it mainlines its way into the list, but it's kind of neat. Manifest Dread, again, really cool in every other setting, but not necessary here. Non-land permanents you control, some small additions. That's right. This is the room. This is one of the rooms I wanted to play with. Okay, so let's read Dusty Parlor. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, put a 1/1 counter equal to the spell's mana value on up to one target creature. Great. Secret Arcade. This shit. We want to go here. Trust me, they got the best games. Non-land permanents you control and permanent spells you control are enchantments in addition to their other types. That means all of the triggers. I like Secret Arcade a lot. I don't know that is too difficult to cast, or maybe too easy. We're going to find out. Hopefully it's too easy. But of all the rooms, I think that's probably the best one we should incorporate. I don't know if I added the... Maybe they added the other white one, not that one. The Surgical Suite. Let me add Surgical Suite, and it's something that we can consider and potentially remove. But I do like it as a recovery effect. I think it makes sense here, and pretty much all of our creatures are 3 and under that we care about. So, don't need that. You have to be cautious with Sheltered by Ghost if you have a Greater Oromancy or Sterling Grove. We do run Sterling Grove if I'm not mistaken, but you're right. Greater Oromancy we don't run though. But Sterling Grove makes it so that our enchantments have shrouds. So yeah, we could bite the bullet there. Secret Arcade way too expensive. Chris, I don't think it is. Like I do think that we're going to be able to hit it pretty easily and we'll be able to storm off. Obviously, you know, like if you have Nyxbloom Ancient tap to produce the 5 mana by itself and you just have your other lands, you're probably in good shape. Also, again, I'm running all of the find your best land effects in green and just generically. So we're going to have the lands that will provide us the mana that will get us the arcade room. I think it might work. We'll see. If it doesn't, then we'll remove it. But I do like it for the list. Whenever one or more tokens you control enters, then so I think Will liked Caretaker's talent, because what you could do when this class becomes level 2, create a token that's a copy of target token you control. Create a token that's a copy of target token you control. Whenever one or more tokens you control enter. He was suggesting that there was a way to make a token of this. Maybe not in this deck. It's not quite good here. Yo, are you in the Sythis Discord? Derek, I am not. But if you have a wealth of knowledge that you'd like to share, feel free to. I am just going over every enchantment in recent date to cover all the ground that this list is missing. But yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm not on the Discord, but if there are play lines that people are trying to incorporate in their decks that they find to be good for the list, I'd love to hear it. 6 and Guy's Touch equals lets you mana neutral draw continually while Sythis is out until you draw a non-land card, right? So 6 is the retrace. You can bring back. So retrace lets you cast it. Casting it lets you get the enchantment trigger. You can play a forest from your hand with Guy's Touch, and Guy's Touch also lets you sacrifice it to produce double green. It costs double green. So it's essentially a piggy bank with an additional ramp function. It by itself is fine. I don't know that we have it in the deck just naturally, but we could incorporate Guy's Touch if 6 is in the list. I want to see how... I'm not going to lie to you, Guy's Touch is probably not something I would go for ever, unless 6 was like right there in my hand. But you could, if it is worth incorporating... What's nice is that Guy's Touch pays for itself when you sacrifice it. You just need to discard lands, right, to keep drawing. I get why you would do it. Does a Shia make the cards lands in your hand? Hold up. No, it doesn't, right? It's just like everything on the field's a forest on. Token creatures you control are forest in addition to other types. Okay. I don't think that incorporates your hand. If there's something that just makes things lands, then great. We'll retrace the crap out of our deck and then find everything we need. But I like Chris. I like 6 and Guy's Touch now that I've had a little bit more time to think about it. Where should I start? Trickster's Elk is great. Oh, well, we could start right here, I guess. Trickster's Elk loses all abilities and is a green elk. Ha! So this is like the Broco version of Oko. Bestow, if you cast this card for its bestow cost, it's an aura with enchant creature. It becomes a creature again if it's unattached. So basically you want to use this to shut people down. I don't mind Trickster Elf. It's kind of cute. It also lets you draw. We could add it for now. I think it probably stays. This is not too unlike Kenrith's Transformation, but Kenrith's Transformation is better. You draw, right? In addition to all of this, but the thing is weaker. Opening 10 boxes of Arthurian Legends, Victoria. Let me know how it goes. I haven't touched the stuff in a while. But I am curious about the new set. I haven't looked at it, but I'm so, God, it's really just One Piece. It's really just One Piece and Magic right now for me. I can only dedicate myself to so many hobbies. I think the Guy's 6 combo is good if you're doing storm draws, so you never get stuck on drawing a land. I guess that's true. Works with creature tutors, so this has access to many. Essentially, Kenrith's Transformation. Oh, we're also running Doorkeeper. Damn it! Derek. I was literally asking for that card earlier because I'm using this deck hasn't been updated in 3 years. Okay. But I'm using the Hushbringer. Hush, the girl that's bringing you hushes, baby. I'm using her, but Doorkeeper Thrall is the one that I wanted to incorporate. I'll look it up for you guys, but it's essentially like a Torpor or a Hushbringer, right? I think it's a generic and a white, and it has flash. This is what's so cool about this card. Artifacts and creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. This is really good against any artifact-based combos where this is relevant, but namely, this is really good against things like Toxin Distortion, which is no longer existing. Or Doorkeeper Thrall hits Thassa's Oracle. That's the thing too. Or any sort of value ETB creature. What's nice is that, you know, when the thing's on the stack, you have the option to just drop this, and it's cheap as fuck. I like Doorkeeper Thrall a lot. Thank you for bringing its name up again. I knew it was Thrall something. Also, I'll probably incorporate Delny, Streetwise, Lookout. I think it's probably a good card, right? does the Discord agree? Let me know. Oh, strict upgrade. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while. Definitely strict upgrade. Yeah, because I remember when this card came out, the Doorkeeper Thrall, and I thought to myself, my God, it puts to shame so many cards. The only reason I don't incorporate it over Torpor Orb in Oswald is the fact that I just have Torpor Orb whenever I want in Oswald, and you can usually feel out when a Thassa's turn is coming. So, you know, it's great, but I think here, Doorkeeper Thrall is amazing. How many years back are we going? That's a fantastic question. We'll probably stop at Static Prison. Static Prison's amazing. We're not going back too many years. I want to incorporate some play lines that Selesnya has available to it now, and also just review some of the enchantments. I'm really just glazing over these. We don't need to look at everything too heavily. I doubt that there are too many game-breaking things. What's more important to me is that if there are new enchantment-based combos, we should obviously incorporate those. I would stop at 3 cards though. If it requires more than 3 things to accomplish, then I'm not going to want to use it. But if there are any we should be incorporating, feel free to holler. Derek 2021. No, we're not going back that far, Chris. God, I hope not. Well, who knows? Like, we're already at Modern Horizons. Like, we're kind of moving quickly here. Kindred Enchantment, excuse me. Colors. I've never seen this card, Echoes of Eternity. I don't think it's relevant for us. I was hoping you'd be cool with Delny. I'd recommend it in all decks it can be run. Yeah, Delny's cool. I mean, Delny requires you to have things that make it relevant. It's kind of a do nothing unless you're doing a thing with it, but creatures you control with power 2 or less can't block by creatures. What's more important is if an ability of a creature you control with power 2 or less would trigger an additional time. I like it here because it helps us proceed with play lines and hopefully find solutions. I'm not high on it in the sense that, again, it doesn't really do anything by itself. So you can kind of just like kill Sythis in response, and then I kind of just have to wait around and recast her. Mana deficiency is the thing I found was the most difficult thing about this deck when I was playing it. So I would like to see if there are new ways, like if there are any more new Wild Growth Utopia Sprawls. I will even take 2 CMC ones that make lands tap for additional mana. I don't want to be mana deficient, and I don't necessarily want that mana coming from creatures either if I can avoid it. Generally would like to avoid it. Let's see here. Meticulous Excavation. This is a new one-ish. Well, everything we're adding is going to be new, but this is the enchantment from Brothers War. Return target permanent you control to its owner's hand. If it has an unearth, instead exile it, then return that card to its owner's hand. Activate only once during your turn. This is an interesting way to... Well, it's a few things. It's like pseudo protection, but it's also letting you recast things for value. It's also returning itself. Obviously not as good as Flickering Ward or Silk Whip, but it makes the cut, I think. We need every single repeatable enchantment we can use. Probably our biggest new piece. Yeah, no. I like that. I like that. Is that really is that the biggest one? Thank you, Chris and Derek. You may cast this for 2 less if you had flat. Oh shit! You know what I want to add? I'm sorry. Split ways, guys. Split up. Split up. Excuse me. This card. This card. Split up is very good. As just mass removal. I also think that we could probably incorporate the Winds of Abandon as another potential wipe. Sometimes, you know, we're playing the list that is trying to make the game go slower. Sometimes you can just use this on a single target or to help tempo out the game, or you can use it to board wipe later. I do think Split Up is one of the best board wipes in modern date. The more I see it, the more I like it. Layers in with Nature's Chosen. I don't know that I'm on Nature's Chosen. Or the energy, the other one. Nature's Chosen's better. Oh, thank God, I am. Okay. I am on Nature's Chosen. Okay. Winds of Abandon works well. Yeah, I like Winds of Abandon. I think in Selesnya in particular, like you're kind of limited on options. I guess you have Final Showdown now as another board wipe, but it's symmetrical, if I'm not mistaken. I forget how Final Showdown reads. But what about Primal Prayers? Static Prison I just added. Calyx Destiny's Hand for ways to loop removal. Let me read Primal Prayers because that's the one I don't know. Oh. Shoot. My neck is so kinked. Okay. Get 2 energy. You may cast creature spells with mana value 3 or less by paying energy rather than their cost. If you cast a spell this way, you may cast it as though it had flash. I don't know if we need Primal Prayers. I'll put it in the deck for now, and we'll see about actually incorporating or not. Do you guys use the banish to another universe? Right? Is that based off of enchantments and artifacts, or is it wait? You know, I think it is affinity for artifacts, an affinity for historics. 1 less for each artifact, legendary, and or saga. Yeah, that's not gonna work here. Sorry. Never mind. Thought we had another piece of removal there. We're not gonna incorporate that, though. Jolted Awake. That's what I wanted. I do want Jolt Awake. Just looking at the energy cost on that card made me think of Jolt Awake. This is good for bringing... Oh, you know what? I thought I hit enchantments too. My bad. I am an Oswald main, for anyone wondering. So if I mention tech that seems bad, it's because it's generally good in that list, I promise. We ride at dawn. Legendary creature spells you control have Convoke. Okay. Okay, it's just not good. Okay. I don't care about that. My plan is to test Shard Mage's Rescue. Shard Mage's Rescue. We can take a look at that in a second. If you want to do a quick TLDR on it, let me know what it does. I'd be curious to know. I love over encumbered. I saw all creatures power 4 or greater. That's kind of funny. Like the Volt 75 middle school doesn't really affect us, but creatures with power 4 or greater is kind of a small window. We get XX, where X is the number of non-land permanents you control. This is kind of like All That Glitters. I don't know if we're on All That Glitters, unless we really wanted to go to Beat Street. I don't think we put All That Glitters in. But that's the one that it cares about enchantments. 1 white flash aura that gives hexproof until end of turn. Yeah. It's +1/+1 when it's on the body. Yeah, we glazed over that. I don't know if I want that one in the deck. We're already at Murders at Karlov Manor, so I feel like we're moving along pretty quickly here. At the beginning of your upkeep, return target land card from your graveyard to your battlefield tapped. Undergrowth Recon's kind of cool with 6. Right? With if you're retracing things, you can kind of Undergrowth Recon to get your land back. I don't know how many people are gonna I don't know. This is kind of cool because it's not your land per turn. Do we like Undergrowth Recon? Am I just crazy for thinking that this is okay? Because if you play this into a fetch land, you have that fetch land virtually for the rest of the game. Although it is tapped, I think that kind of sucks. Protects a combo or stacks piece. Yeah, I don't disagree. It's specifically a hate bear, right? Chalk outline. No. Nope. 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 Whenever you enter the battlefield, you gain 1 life. Okay, don't want that. Case of the Shattered Pact. Search your library for basic land, put it into your hand, and shuffle. To solve 3, there are 5 colors among permanents you control. I'm never going to solve that case. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. Once each turn, you may cast a creature spell with power 2 or less from the top of your library. I think it's a majority of our creatures assemble the players, but there are too few creatures for that to be of value. Yeah, no, I was a little crazy there. Ignore me. Ignore me on the other enchantment. I like free value, but it's a largely do nothing card. If the land needed to enter untapped for it to be super good, and even then I wouldn't. It's maybe not even super good. I'm gonna just add Archdruid's Charm while it's on my mind. I know I mentioned it earlier, but I think Archdruid's Charm might be a spell we use. Also, again, any MDFCs that are new, please let me know. The green one, something bridge. Maybe we incorporate that. I added the other one. I think it's an enchantment. The other MDFC, but we'll see when we look at the deck. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. I can't help but feel there are better cards than on the trail. Sorry. True Identity. Permanent control faced. Nope. Trouble in Pairs. I mean, it's kind of neat. Whenever an opponent attacks, it's just kind of like good against Nachila. It's good against a lot of things. I don't know. Do we like Trouble in Pairs? I'm kind of... It feels costly, but in my mind, like, I feel like we're going to have a lot of mana and it shouldn't be problematic, but Trouble in Pairs is largely do nothing. I would rather keep our curve a little bit lower and be able to play a mass of different enchantments that do things than that. Ken Standish says, oh, you know what, here's the best way to do this. I will start a poll. Outside of the stolen artwork, how do we feel about Trouble in Pairs? Life finds a way. Really want to watch Jurassic Park again. Every time I see these dino cards, it makes me think about it. That first Jurassic Park is so damn good. Whenever a non-token creature with power 4 greater, nope. Thanks, James. I appreciate you watching. I don't know. This is just a good release for me. Release? Is that the right word? It's been a long week. I had like I do a lot of work at my job. I traveled to someone's headquarters to film their executive vice president today. My day started at like 6, and it was multiple hours of setup here because I need to bring some of my equipment to work with this studio equipment, drag over to this place near Union Square, shoot in this abandoned office. Weird setup. Really lovely office though. And leave. But I was doing the lighting, the camera, the audio, and hosting. Boy, I can't wait to review the footage. I'm pretty sure I had locked focus correctly, but I would have really loved to have had additional audio sources, like just 2 booms. I was using lavaliers, but the lavs should be safe. That was my morning, and then I proceeded to edit all day. And I came back home, and I had like 30 minutes to feed my cats and set up for this. It was like, and that was off the tail end of like a whole crazy week with days that were practically 12 hours each. So for me, this is just really great because it's letting me do something that I enjoy. So the fact that anyone else enjoys it is great. So thank you, James. I really appreciate it. Today was tiring. My weekend starts now, so I'm happy for that. I just wish I had There's a problem with this picture. Wish I had some tequila or something. Triggers off practically everything relevant in cEDH and hoses extra turn decks passively. It's 50-50 right now. I don't know. I need more people. I need more people to agree. I think Trouble in Pairs is good. Please agree with me. If a creature you control would explore, blah, blah, blah. When a land enters the battlefield under your control, if you someone were like, nah, yeah, you got me curious now. Let's turn it over. It's not good. Okay. Enters the battlefield, draw a card, then put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. If it's a cave, lands you control enter the battlefield untapped. Guys, it gets past our own root maze. It makes that 1/3 CMC enchantment better. We're not using it. Oh, ooh. No, he's not an enchantment. I know there's like a new Grand Abolisher. God, what's his name? Tecatli something? I don't know. I don't know what it is, but we may see it. And if it looks good, we may incorporate it. I don't think it's an enchantment, though. As from the rubble enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. No, it's okay. Are we on Aura Shards? David, I've been on and off that card for a while. We can make that the next poll, because frankly, I don't know how to feel about Aura Shards. All right, we'll come back down to the Doctor Who set. Guy, we're moving really fast here. The Doctor Who set might have been around the start of the ambassadorship we had with Magic the Gathering. No word on that. But I do enjoy working with them. I would love to work with them permanently. I would love to work with them, honestly. If with a budget, I think we could do a lot, Wizards. Is anyone watching this? Tell someone higher up, please. With a budget, I could do a lot of things. Whenever a creature enters battlefield under your control, you may destroy target artifact or enchantment. So we don't have that many creatures. Why I liked Aura Shards in my list is that I generated a lot of token creatures. So I liked manipulating this to sort of dictate what pieces were on the board for my opponents, not just ramp. Although it more oftentimes than not hit ramp. I don't know about Aura Shards. I feel like it's probably in the sideboard for the deck right now. Or not. We could put it in and see how we feel about it, but I'm not sure it's mainlineable. I feel like people really like it though. So if you guys really like it, we could try incorporating it. Aura Shard seems bad here, says Super Tux. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this instead. Here. I don't want to fully commit to this. Nor the Primal Prayers. Hold up. Sorry, Primal Prayers. Okay. I'm gonna save and continue editing. We're over 100. Yeah, I figured. The Curse of Fenric. Are there any Doctor Who cards good for this list? How about let's start there. Does anyone know? I'm gonna go through the bottom of this page and then we can finish up the poll that's going right now. But the Curse of Fenric. No, not that one. No, nope. I'm really just looking at the first bit of lore to see if it's any bit worthwhile. That's all you really need to know when you look at these, and then everything else is sort of just icing. That's kind of cool. Trial of the Time Lord. I don't know that we need it. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, draw a card. Vanishing 4. With 4 time counters on the beginning of your upkeep, remove a time counter. When the last one is removed, sacrifice it. So for 3 mana, over 4 turns, you'll draw at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase. If this was post-combat, 4 Nox might be good. But not even really then. We're drawing so many cards, I think that's just kind of meh. We're still manipulating card draw effects in the deck, but that's still pretty meh. You've never Aura Shard Flickering Warded someone, or even better. Well, Flickering Ward is the Aura enchantment. It's not going to trigger Aura Shard, right? Aura Shard wants a creature to enter. Find it, David. Find it for me. All right. Polls closing. Trouble in Pairs. 3, 2. Thoughts on Trouble in Pairs. 4. Where am I going with this count? 5, 3, 2, 1. I went up after okay. 0. Okay, I think it's a no. Holy crap. There's a card called Food Coma, and I missed it. Court of Garenbrig. Really good. Not in Commander. Well, I mean, depending on what you're doing. I should have prefaced this by saying that this is a cEDH channel foremost, at least when it comes to Commander. I try to play most of the games I play competitively. So even though it's a casual format, I still like to try as hard as I can. When Giant Inheritance is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, returned to its owner's hand. Ooh, guys, repeatable enchantment here. Is it good enough? Not at all. Whenever enchanted creature attacks a real top card, that's too much effort. Okay. When it casts a spell, mana value 5 or greater, draw a card. Man, Up the Beanstalk's really cool. I remember when this card came out, and I know for a lot of people that in mono green, this is kind of an interesting value proposition. We do have cards that are 5 or greater, but not that many. I'm not sure that this is worth incorporating or even looking at still. I'm so sorry. Return target creature or land from your graveyard to your hand. Virtue of Strength isn't bad. This isn't bad at all. Oh, you know what's not in the deck? Legolas's Quick Reflexes. That might be something we want to incorporate. Right? Is that a good card? Do people like Legolas's Quick Reflexes? Let me know. Food Coma, though. No, sorry, save the best for last there. When Food Coma enters, exile target creature and putting controls until Food Coma leaves the battlefield. Are you considering using my boy Abdel Adrian along with Touch the Spirit? Oh, you know what? Touch the Spirit Realm's probably not in this because I want to go at least to Neon Dynasty, which is where Touch the Spirit Realm came out. I am pretty sure it's not in this list. So yes, the answer is yes. Touch the Spirit Realm is going to go in, but Abdel Adrian is a combo card. It's its own commander for some people. There you go. Hey, look, Up the Beanstalk, right there with Abdel. And enters the battlefield, exile number of non-land permits you control, leaves the battlefield. You can do shenanigans with this. Oblivion Ring, Lin, and Relic Order. I don't mind that Mindful. That's interesting. I haven't seen... I'm sorry. I'll look at Leyline Immersion as well. I will consider the Abdel Adrian thing Mindful. I do want to add Lean and Relic Order, though. And Pre-War Formal Wear, just because that's a self-enclosed combo. Does it do anything? Not at all. Not at all. We would have to incorporate something that would benefit with that. Outside of Aura Shards... Well, where are those Aura Shards? Where are the Aura? Did I not even add them to the sideboard? I'm sorry, guys. Here. Aura Shards. Aura Shards. Is this something we should just drop in the deck? Oh, yeah, guys. With the core lands, please just drop them on me. The deck list should be in the description here. If you want to pull up the deck yourself to look at it, it should definitely be there. If it's not, please let me know. I'm assuming it is, though, because I just got those Rex. So, Beseju, who endures? Right? Is that the one? I think it is. Yeah. Yeah. It's the one with channel. Igonjo's fine. I get why yeah, it's just a free... Here's another thing to do with your mana. So yeah, sure. Well, not that one. We'll do Igonjo, Seed of the Empire. Okay. I do want to look at Leyline of Immersion, Sir, quickest 3-card combo. Shifting Woodland. Oh, is this the one that copies the thing in your graveyard for like 4 mana? Yeah, we could add that. Urza's Cave is a new one to find. Doesn't this find a land? Hold up, doesn't this find any land? Sorry, that we're kind of on a roll here. Search your library for a land card, put onto the battlefield, tap and shuffle. I kind of want to incorporate this. I want to make space for this because for me, getting to Sarah's Sanctum, getting to Guy's Cradle, all those are essential. You obviously would do this off turn. Yes, it feels bad that it's tapped. I get that. I just want to test it. But I keep thinking about this card as just another way to find land, and that's just generically good to me. I like that. Enchant legendary creature. Enchanted creature has ward 2 and add 5 mana. Any combination of colors. Spend this mana only to cast spells. I don't know. I don't know. How do people feel about Leyline of Immersion? Does it bother you that it's not just an enchantment that gives legendary creatures? It's weird that it has Leyline and it isn't freely castable. Sarah's Sanctum's in, Guy's Cradle, Horizon Canopy. Oh, what's the new Verge land? I do want to put the Verge land in here. Oh, look, the deck's not... No, there should be Temple Garden. Hold up. Wait up. Deck's not that old, man. The deck's not that old. Horizon Canopy should be in here. That's the one that draws. Should be. Yeah, these are all here. These are all here. Cutzel, the Grand Abolisher, you're thinking of. Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, I don't know that we use Cutzel though. Hushwood Verge. I pulled one of these. I pulled 2 Verge lands actually. I pulled this in the Demir one. Was it Demir? I think it was. I want to use Hushwood Verge as well. I like Hushwood Verge. I need to look at our colors split though, but I think that this is just a good kind of dual land on a budget. I might take out one of the... We'll see. I want to incorporate it if I can, if there's space. I don't know if that there will be. I'll put Abdel on the side for now. Maybe we incorporate Abdel Adrian. Talon Gates of Madara. Holy crap, yeah. Talon Gates is fantastic. I only have the 1 copy, but that's okay. Yeah, we're gonna want to include Talon Gates of Madara. It's a generic tapping lands, but we might be able to get away with it. I only want so many of those, so... Nykthos is in. Did we put in the new Calyx? So no, but we could talk about it, Victoria. So Calyx Guided by Fate, yes. So this is another March card, March of the Machines. I really like this as its own commander as well, but its constellation effects or another enchantment enters put a 1/1 counter on target creature, so things get bigger. This is a fire department down the street. If you've watched any of my streams, you know this. Whenever Calyx or an enchanted creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may create a token that's a copy of a non-legendary enchantment you control. Do this only once each turn. So it feels a little slow. Let me put Calyx as well on the sidelines here. The deck is going slow, so don't get me wrong. Like, I think there's time and space for it, but I might... Let's do a poll on that next. I think that Aura Shard seems like it wants to be in the deck. That seems a little bit more reasonable consideration for everyone. So let's just do that. But I am curious as to your thoughts on Calyx here. So is this something that you would want to incorporate? Again, we're going to refine this in a second, but I am curious as to everyone's thoughts. And this, Victoria, someone also brought this up earlier. You're good on the misspelling, don't worry. Spelling doesn't count here. Let's see here. It counts when I'm trying to type in Scribefall, though. What I'm really trying to look for is just more ramp pieces. I'm a little annoyed that there weren't any new and it's reasonable that there weren't, but I would love more enchantment ramp. It's just some of the safest form of ramp you can get. Sorry, I'm kind of zoomed out. Here you go. But yeah, let me know if you guys want Cutzel as well. I don't know if he's worth it. Lord of the Rings territory. Damn, this set was good. No, I'm sorry. I think we started our ambassadorship with Lord of the Rings, or maybe just before this. I mean, it was just before this. Because I definitely got Lord of the Rings stuff from WotC. Some of my favorite stuff. I love this set, man. It is so good. Spark Rupture. Enters, draw a card. Each planeswalker. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Don't care about that. Tribute to the World Tree. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card if it has 3 or greater power. Nah, it's never gonna happen. The invasions. Oh, man. Okay. I don't know that we have the battle for Zendikar. Which is the good battle? Battle for Ikoria? Is it Ikoria? Of Ikoria? Oh my lord. How are they worded? I'm sorry. Hold up, hold up, hold up. Are they not? Invasion. God. Invasion of the British. Invasion of Ikoria. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't think we've had an Invasion of Ikoria. Pretty sure this is before its time. Okay. I mean, because it's from the set, right? Invasion of Ikoria, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Skrelv's Hive, anyone? We're gonna look at a handful of these. I think once we get past Invasion and like up to Brothers War, we're more or less where I was with this deck a little while ago. This is 2022 right here. Yeah, I didn't add anything from Baldur's Gate into this list. But it's nice to go down memory lane with y'all. I love looking at all these enchantments. It's just opportunities. I don't know. I think that's what's so fun about this game, for me at least, from a deck building perspective, and maybe it's true for you, but every time I see a card that I feel has potential, it's just the opportunity to do something with it makes me excited. It's the best part of this game for me. The deck building's always been the best part. Playing is one thing. Playing is fine. Because not everything goes to plan when you're actually playing, but like the theory crafting and seeing what you could do with these cards is the best part. Enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent opponent controls. Vivian's Talents. Elspeth's Talent. Yeah, I think these are a bunch of nothing soup for us. We're probably going to want to move on to any other new utilities that are good for the list. There can't be that many more. But the deck was pretty tight, if I remember correctly, before. We do have a lot of cards to cut, by the way. It's already 8:34. When did we start? We started an hour ago? Oh my gosh. All right, done for the day. I don't think these are playable. That one is, though. Starlight Spectacular. We're probably not running Starlight Spectacular. Get your head in the game. Dude, the art's so cute for this unset. I didn't play this one, but I mean, I've definitely seen the sticker cards. And I've definitely played with Astro, the Planeswalker dog. In a cube. It's just the battlefield. Exile each non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less until temporary lockdown leaves the battlefield. That's kind of neat. Exile each. I mean, yes. I've never seen this card. This is not good. This is not good here. Enters the battlefield. Exile each non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less. That is really cool. Hold on. Does this combo with Does this combo with Lean and Relic Order? No, right? Because it enters, it exiles this, and then Lean and Relic Order. No, nothing happens. Nothing happens. And, no, there's no way. No. Okay. I play it in standard every day. What? What do you play in standard every day? This temporary lockdown? Is it playable in standard? I don't know. I don't play any of the other formats. So I only play Cube and I play Commander and I'll play a sealed or draft. Prayers Binding. Enters battlefield exile to. All right. Gang, I think we're there. Oh. There's this. I guess there's this. Does anyone want to reduce the cost of their enchantments? Is that necessary? Oh, you know what? I did want to go through at least the set. I feel like this Neon Dynasty has a few more things for us than what I'm looking at here. Okay. Jukai Naturals is kind of cool. It is a draw, and it is also cost reduction. I feel like that's maybe good enough if we're trying to storm. Jukai Naturalist, and then permits you control leave the battlefield if you counter something. Yeah. Okay, read that. Okay. Enchantment creatures control again +1/+1. Copy target activated. A Weaver of Harmony. I mean, no, it's just okay. I like Weaver of Harmony though. I like the copying the triggered effects, but I don't think we need that. Greater Tanuki. We're actually almost right back to 2021. Touch the Spirit Realm. So we just put that in. Exile target artifact or creature until touch the Spirit Realm. Leaves the battlefield. Right. Temporary Lockdown. No way. That card's really dope. I like Temporary Lockdown a lot. I wish it was more playable here. Spirited Companion? Do we just want to draw a card for playing the doggo? It's kind of cute. I think we're at the end of the road here, though, for sure. Swift Reconfiguration, actually. Swift Reconfiguration. We could technically use Swift to make infinite mana with the Druid, right? What's the name of the green Druid that gives -1 counters to herself and then untaps herself? Can we flicker it? Swift Reconfig? I don't think so. Nothing's immediately coming to mind, at least. Oh, flicker the Touch the Spirit Realm? I think so. I do think so, yeah. Whenever a human you control dies, draw a card. Okay, well that's short on the list. Yeah, we're back, people. We're back. 2021 right here. I don't think there's anything from this set we need, though. The doggo? Oh, the doggo? Yeah, there's probably a way to flicker it, but we're good. If there is an enchantment creature that produced its own mana, like on ETB, and it was enough to pay for a meal, I would use that. Okay. Let me add Swift Reconfiguration. And then I want to look at... I'm going to hit so many cards. Okay, not as many as I thought. The Druid that gives... Devoted Druid. Devoted Druid. Okay. Temporary Lockdown would combo with Lean and Relic Order and Journey to Nowhere, if I'm not mistaken. So the reason I bring that up is that Citizen Champion reads if an enchantment enters the battlefield. So technically we could, and she's 3 CMC. So technically we could draw our deck if we looped. If we use Lean and Relic Warder in that, we could draw our deck. No, it does not accomplish anything by itself. Neither would making infinite mana with Devoted Druid, but we can look at it. Okay, so guys, if there are any instants, sorceries, artifacts, or any other card you can consider, is there another type we should consider? I don't think so. Let me know. But we have a lot of things to cut, and I know exactly what we could start with. We're going to cut the Mana Crypts, and we're going to cut the Jeweled Lotus. Jeweled Lotus was a glorified Lotus Petal when I made the list initially. I still think it's good for that, especially if Sythis gets removed. Birthing Pod, we need to look into the lines for Birthing Pod. I'm not sure that there's anything great for the pod here, though. I just specifically just care about their cost +1. I don't know what I was Birthing Podding out initially. Witch Enchanters and MDFC. I feel like we could probably manipulate Witch Enchanter, but we'll look at our lands in a second. Again, Pre-War Formal Wear is just something that works with Lean and Relic Warder. Enters the battlefield, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to Pre-War Formal Wear. And then you would use this with a sack outlet. We didn't include any sack outlets. I just want to consider this as a combo in the list because it's a 3-card combo that's not too difficult to hit. You just need to find the pieces. Leon's easy, Pre-War's not. And then obviously the sack outlet would hopefully be an enchantment, but I'm not sure there's any great ones we can incorporate. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that's probably going to get sidelined. I think Birthing Pod can probably be sidelined for now too. Battles, Ikoria, great. Okay, Natural Order is in the deck. Natural Order's biggest target, you sacrifice a green to get a green creature. And it's 4 mana, right? So for me, it's an Nyxbloom Ancient. That seems pretty easy. That's really our best target though. I think right now with how the deck is operating, this Natural Order can probably be removed, and then Nyxbloom Ancient. Again, we're so deficient on mana, but let's just see where it lands after we're done cutting cards. Split Up is great. I think Split Up is something that we just need to incorporate into Whitelist moving forward. I think having this as a tempo play is really solid. Be mindful of how you cast it. That's all I gotta say about that. Eldritch Evolution is still good. It's 2+ the creature's cost, and it's X or less. So whatever we kill, we're probably going to find exactly what we need. And if it's a 1 CMC thing, we will find all of our cards in down, outside of Witch Enchanter. But even Witch Enchanter is like accessible. I think Manglehorn might be the better option. This is an MDFC though, so it's just not, why wouldn't you? I guess is what I'm saying. But Witch Enchanter's fine. I do think that we could probably, we'll look at the creatures later. Are we doing Sanctum Weaver, Nature's Chosen, and Cloudstone Curio? Cloudstone Curio I thought was in the list, as a matter of fact. I like that Bow of Nylea is a legendary enchantment artifact, by the way. So, I don't know why that's sidelined. I guess I was using it for a time. Victoria, you said the magic word. Yeah, any opportunity I have to use Cloudstone Curio, I will. So the answer is yes. We could definitely consider Cloudstone Curio. Cloudstone Curio might be the answer to a lot of our problems so far as like being able to reuse utilities. So yeah, I'd like to consider it. All right. Again, if there's anything else you want to incorporate, please let me know. But I do think that that is a good place to start. Nylea's Intervention. Search your library for up to X lands. I think we can get rid of Nylea's Intervention. Is Expedition Map still in here? I think we can get rid of Expedition Map as well. Okay. Sylvan Scrying's good though. Finale Devastation. Green Sun Zenith. Oh, you know what I didn't add? I do like Haywire Might quite a bit. You can't tutor this, but at least with Green Sun Zenith, but I did just remember this card exists. Are we running the combo line? Well, I mean, Sanctum Weaver and Nature's Chosen are in the deck, so technically we are, right? So yeah, we can incorporate it. The Cloudstone Curio. Oh man, those lands are going to be awful to cut. Let's just start here. Ancient Tomb can probably go away. Am I crazy? I mean, there's a lot of 2 CMC in my... 2 generic, I should say, in my creatures here. Not too many in regards to enchantments. I mean, X cost effects is another thing entirely. I usually just slam Ancient Tomb in pretty much any deck that can incorporate it. But we are incorporating more colorless lands, so we should probably not consider it as highly. Brushland is still fine. Bountiful Promenade is good. Command Tower is great. Desert Temple, untapped target land. Yeah, that's good. Dryad Arbor is just a body we can fetch off the Green Sun Zenith. That whole line of play is cute. I don't know if it's absolutely necessary, but I think we will incorporate it. By the way, the sorceries are good. These are all good where they are. I think we keep those as they are. Gemstone Caverns is good. Hall of Heliod's Generosity. Hall of Heliod's Generosity is a form of recovery, is decent. I don't know that I love it in the deck. We're not, I don't know if we're on Urza's Saga. I'm on Urza's Cave. I don't know that we're on Urza's Saga, but you're right. If we did incorporate Urza's Saga, we could find it. I don't know that I will be on Urza's Saga, though. I do want a handful of basics, though. But we'll probably reduce the basics down to 1. 1 each. You know, we want to have that Tainted Pact mana base. You know how important it is. I'm going to get rid of 2 more lands minimally. And those lands are going to be... I mean, we've got all the fetch lands. Jeez, we got all the fetch lands. I like that Temple Garden art. This is a lot of lands, and I don't know what I want to cut. There's never a reason not to run Mana Confluence and City of Brass, especially when our commander is gaining his life, so it's sort of like net neutral on whatever you're casting. Meticulous Excavation went in. Thank you. Why are these last lands so hard to cut? I don't know that we... No, Dryad Arbor's good. Dryad Arbor's good here. I guess we just get rid of this Pain land and we get rid of... Shifting Woodland's fine. Becomes a copy of target permanent in a graveyard. What is the best permanent Shifting Woodland can become? Wow. About to take out Nykthos, and I can't tell you why. No, Hall of Heliod, it's fine. I'll take out Hall of Heliod's Generosity for now. That's fine. Okay. I just want to go down to 28 lands. That's usually a fair place to start. Especially if we keep that MDFC. I don't know that we are, but we could. Force of Vigor, it's fine. Are there any other free spells we should consider? Search your library for a creature or land, reveal it, put it onto the battlefield tapped. If it's a land, put it onto the battlefield tapped if it's a land, otherwise put it into your hand and then shuffle. I like Archdruid's Charm. Exile target artifact or enchantment is really good against One Rings. We could incorporate the One Ring, but we don't need it. Congregation at Dawn, reveal 3 creature cards. Put those cards on top of your library in order. This just lets us find our creature combos. I think that's good. If there was a... What are the entirely creature-based combos outside of Heliod and Ballista? Because really it would just be, if we really wanted to shut things down, we would just grab like a Grand Abolisher. We would grab a Grand Abolisher, Heliod, and Walking Ballista, right? Rite of Harmony, whenever a creature or enchantment enters the battlefield under your control this turn, draw a card. Rite of Harmony and has flashback. I think we take Rite of Harmony out for now. It feels a little... Wait, when was this set? Yeah, that was 2021. Okay. Eladamri's Call. Eladamri's Call is good. Crop rotation is great. You should always incorporate it. Avoid Fate, counter target instant or aura spell that targets a permanent you control. I like Avoid Fate enough. I don't know that it's great here. I don't have Autumn's Veil. I don't have Autumn's Veil in the list. I really valued Avoid Fate more than that, huh? It's usually an instant speed thing that's going to target your whatever. So I like to avoid Fate as a counter option in those instances. I still think it's playable here. Natural State's good. Noxious Revival is good. You could say Nature's Claim if you really want it. I think we're good here, though. Let's go to enchantments. We got to cut 18 cards. Non-land permanents you control. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is get rid of this sigil here. But Surgical Suite with our amount of creatures is good. It's really just Surgical Suite though. And Secret Arcade, I just want to test. Titania's Song. Titania's Song. I just want to read the modernized text. Each non-creature artifact loses all abilities and becomes an artifact creature with power and toughness, each equal to its mana value. If Titania's Song leaves the battlefield, this effect continues until end of turn. Each non-creature artifact. So Titania's Song is really cool for blowing up zero-cost rocks. I don't mind it. I don't know that we need it. I don't know when I decide to incorporate Titania's Song. I feel like there's better options now. Again, I want to test the arcade. Enchantress's Presence, great. Grasp of Fate, great. Touch of Spirit Realm, Trudge Garden. Trudge Garden can come out for now. Ashes of the Abhorrent, it's still probably a good staple. Blind Obedience is good if we want to extort our opponent. Compost is maybe a little extra now. I don't think we need it. I'm on Fertile Ground and I'm on the Wolf Willow Haven because I just want all of the enchantment-based ramp pieces. Those are some of the only ones that I knew existed at the time. I don't know that there's anything better at this time. I like Seal of Primordium. I like both seals. Are they both in here? Well, there's another seal. I guess we're not running both because I've got the white thing. Seal of Cleansing. Why aren't I running Seal of Cleansing? But I have Seal of Primordium. It's like an overcosted way to get to destroying the thing, but I like it. We've got Aura of Silence is the other one, though. We definitely keep Aura of Silence. Rest in Peace, still decent. Oh, I do have Seal of Cleansing. What am I talking about? Okay, it's right there. Sterling Grove, Enchantment Tutor, Shroud, Sylvan Library. Sylvan Library is fine. It's not great, but it's fine. Mana Bloom. Now, why did I use Mana Bloom? Ethereal Armor. +1/+1 for each enchantment you control on first strike. I think we can keep Ethereal Armor. But Mana Bloom's the curiosity here. Whenever it enters the battlefield, X charge counters. Remove X charge counters from Mana Bloom. Add 1 mana of any color. Oh, that's right. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Mana Bloom has no charge counters on it, return it to its owner's hand. So basically, you can cast this for 1, and it's repeatable. Survival of the Fittest didn't have enough creatures before. And I don't know that it has it now, but we'll look. We'll look. I have it on the sideline, if I'm not mistaken. Over here. Paladin class. Oh, wait, we did add a card from the Dungeons and Dragons set. 1 mana, spells your opponent's cast during your turn cost 1 more to cast. Good protection on your turn. I think we can get rid of Paladin class for now. Rude Maze, Static Prison, Swift Reconfiguration, Devoted Druid combo, Utopia Sprawl, Whip Silk, Wild Growth. Okay. We need to get rid of 10 more cards. Here's what I'm going to do just initially. I think that we don't need the Pre-War Formal Wear or the Lean and Relic Warder. I think we can take those out before we continue looking. That should hopefully help us a little bit in this. Yeah, that should help us a little bit. All right. Delny Streetwise Lookout, Elvish Spirit Guide, Eternal Witness, Heliod Sun Crown, Ranger Captain of Eos, Edison Champion, 6. Cloudstone, Curio, Nature's Chosen. Any enchantment to help draw our deck. Okay, Arbor Elf. Arbor Elf I'm just not high on. Is it bad that I'm not high on Arbor Elf? You can tell me. You can tell me. Seed Cradle Witch. I mean, is it better to just shoot for the stars and use Devoted Druid Swift Reconfig? Is that not just the cleaner way to get infinite mana than Sanctum Weaver, Seed Cradle Witch? I'll take that out for now. Arbor Elf. Why aren't I on any dorks? Who am I? We'll take that out too. The Chrome Mox, Lotus Petal, Mox Diamond, and Cloudstone can all stay. I quite like Cloudstone with our enchantments. We kind of need to be able to recast things. That's just a good solution for that. Hushbringer, oh my gosh, thank you. Like, and I'm like, there's something obvious that should just be removed, and that was definitely it. We need to cut 5 more cards here, though. I don't know that they're going to come from creatures. Excuse me. So say we do add Survival of the Fittest now. Survival of the Fittest is 2 mana. You pay a green, discard a creature, and then you can search your library for a different creature. I don't know that Survival of the Fittest has a real good home here right now. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but... Oh, I'm sorry. This Calyx pull. Yeah, it ended. I don't think we're using Calyx. But... Survival of the Fittest, you ditch one creature and you find another creature. What is that creature? I guess it's going to be Heliod Sun Crowned. Is there a way I can just chain up? How do I do it? And if I just have one or the other in hand, I just find the solution that way. That's not so bad. 18 creatures. I think that hits threshold for me to want to include a Survival of the Fittest. So we can incorporate it. I'm going to take out the Sylvan Library. I know. Weird. Very, very weird. But I don't think that we need it. Jukai Naturalist. I do think we want to incorporate that. Our deck is kind of pip heavy. We've got a lot of tutors going on. Green Sun Zenith's best target is going to be, what, Arbor Elf or one of our enchantresses? Just additional, oh, I guess 6. 6. And then we have guys touching the deck now, so we should be good. You know, I suppose we can get rid of the Fertile Ground and the Wolf Willow Haven. And such a tough deck to play with because there's a good balance of effects here and I don't want to screw with it. Blind Obedience is 1 win. Okay, so Blind Obedience is one very definite win with any sort of mana producer and the Cloudstone Curio. Blind Obedience can't be paid for, though, by Devoted Druid, sadly. We would need to manipulate Devoted Druid into helping us find something else. I'll check out the Avoid Fate for now. I don't want it to come from any more of my removal options, but we need to get rid of 2 more things, and I think that we can probably get rid of the Luminarch Ascension, kind of an old vestige. All these token generators I'm going to get rid of. I don't think we necessarily need the token generators. And we could probably get rid of 1 of these seals. And likely, let me just look at my color split, the white one. We'll get rid of the white one. Seal of Cleansing. Okay. Okay, that's 100. We did it. Is this a better Sythis Harvest hand? Well, the old me would strive for that, right? God, Secret Arcade, Dusty Parlor, 8 mana total. Let's try this deck out. I'm curious to see how this performs. Obviously, if you are a Sythis player, please let me know what you're doing with your list. If there are combos that I should just incorporate, play lines we should just consider. We're going to test this in a vacuum, so this is obviously not going to be a clear indicator of how this deck will perform in a pod with 3 other people. But I am curious to see how it operates. So let's go. Okay, what does a good keepable hand look like? Lord only knows. One with Carpet of Flowers, probably, in a Gemstone Caverns. A D-Spinner. 1 Temple Garden. Let's just keep this. Say we get the Gemstone. We're probably going to get rid of the Court of Calling here. And that looks good to me. We'll draw for turn. Dryad Arbor, great. You never really want to see it like that. We're going to go Temple Garden, and we will play lose 2 life. I'm not going to track the life, but you should track the life, obviously, when you're playing an actual game. We'll play Sythis. So this is good. We're going to set up for next turn. We have Eladamri's Call as a tutor. Dryad Arbor for our land drop next turn. We don't have anything to stunt our opponents, but we could search up something potentially here. Next turn, Deserted Temple. First thing I want to do is just do the Carpet with our luck counter land over here. We'll draw a card and gain a life. We have Nature's Chosen. Ooh. I forget all of the effects on Nature's Chosen. Give me 1 second. I know it untaps a thing, but also tap enchanted creature, untap target artifact creature or land. Excuse me. Wow. Untap enchanted creature, activate only during your turn, only once each turn. God, Nature's Chosen is great. I forgot how great this card is. Activate only if enchanted creature is white and untapped. And only once each turn. White and untapped. Okay. Nature's Chosen is white, apparently. That was okay. I was really hoping to hit a different land, but that's fine. I think we'll probably just put down the Destiny Spinner and cross our little fingies that nothing horrible happens. We are getting... I kind of want to put like Vexing Bauble in here. We definitely go for more stacks. I wish we had more... I wish there was a 1 CMC creature that just did really well at stopping the board. Let me know if that exists. I don't think it exists. Like just a really good 1-drop that just stops the game. Like a Deafening Silence would. All of the Rule of Law creatures, like Eidolon or Rhetoric. They're all 3 CMC. Archon of Emeria. Okay, so as it stands, though, we're probably going to want to use either the Desert Temple and Temple Garden, or let's just say we're using the Carpet of Flower mana with the Temple Garden to play D-Spinner. That way we can at least set up a Dryad Arbor for next turn. And we'll do this and this. As a creature, draw a card here. Okay, this is fine. Next turn. Silencio, you say. Okay, the untapping of target creature. This is really not useful for us. I can't think of how many, or tap target creature. There's not that many white creatures in the deck that can really benefit off of this. That's kind of sick though. The Nature's Chosen has that effect. All right, we really want to get a Flickering Ward in hand, but there's no good way to do that. I need another copy of this deck up just to look at. What is the best creature we can find in this moment, though? I kind of wish we had like Moonblessed Cleric or something. I almost feel like we need the creature to find the enchantment. At this moment, I think is where you probably just go for another enchantress. Just to help you sift through the deck. Or if you have a Hate Bear you particularly want. Or if you have a Delny you particularly want. Let's get some draw at least. I guess we could just put Nature's Chosen on Sythis. It's not great. Moonblessed Cleric for Tutor Chain. Yeah, honestly, like, I don't really like her, but it's necessary. Kind of necessary. The only enchantment we can cast right now is Nature's Chosen, and I'm not like in love with it, but it will let us untap the land, if anything, and tap target artifact, creature, or land. And untapped and only once each turn. Yes, you 100% do that. Do what? Do Nature's Chosen on Sythis? Alright. Draw a card. Force of Vig. Okay, well at least we have something that can help slow down the game. This lucky little cavern of ours. Let's just say we use the carpet mana for that. There's like 1 island. That's believable. We'll do this. I think we just hold, and then we Eladamri's Call for a solution. We have silence, and we also have a way to we can Green Sun Zenith exile to Force of Vigor to do things that way. But we do have quite a bit of mana here. 1, 2, 3, 4 total. It's not horrible. 1 mana turns your creature into a dork, cantrips, untaps Sanctum Weaver too. Yeah, it would untap Sanctum Weaver, which is quite good. Nature's Chosen's fantastic. So far as creatures are concerned, I don't know what I want to dig up right now. Like, I guess we could do... nothing is going to really get us there. Nothing is really going to get us there. I kind of figure we just get another Enchantress, and ideally one that is... None of the Enchantresses are enchantments, sadly. Am I crazy? No. Okay. Citizen Champion's great. I kind of just want to grab her. Let's do that. Okay, so off turn, we'll do the Eladamri's Call. Let's also say we had to Force of Vigor here. Whatever. Get rid of some shit. We'll do it this way with the Dryad Arbor. The key card to use with Nature's Chosen is Cloudstone. Hell yeah. Yeah. You should be on Seed Cradle Witch. To untap a thing. I was looking at it, I removed it. If you can find a slot for it in the list, let me know. But I didn't necessarily want to incorporate it. I mean, I think it only untaps creatures, right? Is that how it read, or is it untap anything? Untap creature. Look, I love the art. I love the set. Look at the list and tell me where you can see it going in. Right now, frankly, I feel like this is a bridge too far for us. Like, this isn't... I wouldn't grab Seed Cradle Witch right now, but I would grab Citizen Champion. Goes infinite with Sanctum Weaver. I know. I don't think right now, though, we need that. Like infinite, so let's just say we produced infinite mana in this instance. What's the best thing we can do with infinite mana with our current predicament? I mean, I guess we could what's a creature we could tutor up for a solution? Oh, well, so we'd use one tutor to get. It's so slow. So like my main issue right now with this hand we're playtesting is that yes, it turn 1 Sythis, but we're not really doing anything great to affect the game. Or at least slow it down. It's turn 4 right now. We don't have any enchantments to play into this board. We haven't Citizen Champion. It also gives your dudes +3/+3. Oh, the Seed Cradle Witch? Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, you're suggesting as a way to close out the game if they don't have enough blockers? That's true. Right. If they don't have enough blockers. Right now we've got 3 creatures. So technically if Sanctum Weaver is able to tap for mana, that's like a 4th creature. So you could probably knock out a majority of players. I get that. I actually like that. If you have a big enough board. We have 18 creatures in this deck as it stands, so there's maybe enough there. Let's do Citizen Champion. It's not gonna matter. Just hope that we don't get board wiped. I think this is pretty much a neutered game though. Let me do some revisions and then we can go back and try again. I do think I'm going to remove the probably Archdruid's Charm for the Seed Cradle Witch. I like that as a possible solution. I don't know that I love Delny here. Like I want something else. I want to be able to find a creature that's going to make a meaningful difference. Like the Moonblessed Cleric. Yeah, I can't be without an enchantment. Rick, literally the Moonblessed Cleric needs to find a Flickering Ward or a Whip Silk. And I'll be a much happier lad. Let's just try this with those minor revisions and see what happens. I also feel like there could be more rule of laws outside of the Deafening Silence, but that's okay. We'll figure that out later. Okay. Well, damn. If we had one more land, man, I would feel so much more confident about this hand. This is not a bad hand. Let's play pretend that we had another land in our hand. Obviously, Lotus Petal would let us turn 1 Sythis, but then we could also potentially Whip Silk next turn if that land was green. I'm just curious if we... Oh, wow, Misty Rainforest. Well, I'm going to play this hand now, but since you're running the Devoted Druid, Nature's Chosen, Walking Ballista, and Sanctum Weaver, you might want to consider Marvin Murderous Mimic. Packs a lot of utility and combos. How willing are you to be on Stacks plan? I'm willing enough to be on the Stacks package. I think that this deck is very mid-range naturally, so there's time and not enough space. So we would need to find out where the Stacks goes in. There are Stacks pieces here already. Like Ashes of a Born can probably be switched out for something else at this point. It's a good card. It still stops like it's obviously an enchantment based way of stopping Underworld Breach, but it's fine. Let's do Lotus Petal. Let's do this. Let's grab a Savannah. Let's play Sythis and shuffle up. Okay, so nice turn 1 Sythis. We've had both hands that just produced turn 1 Sythis, which is really nice. This produces 1 mana off of our Sythis alone, which is really cool. The only reason I would want to consider like enchantment lands like Valvagoth's Cave, whatever I showed you guys earlier, is the fact that Serra Sanctum's in the deck. So there's enough enchantments, so I think that we're going to get by just fine. Urza's Cave. We're gonna we're gonna avoid Urza's Cave. I'll start with the Whip Silk though to see if there's any other better options. We'll drop it here. If we needed to Static Prison, we could. Static Prison is generally reserved for getting rid of the thing that's stopping you from winning this turn. I don't know if it makes sense in this deck, although it's a really good removal. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ignore this Marvin suggestion. This is a new card from Duskmourn. It has all activated creatures you control that don't have the same name as this creature. So it's tutorable in this list, and it is quite good with all of the creatures we're running. It is slow though. That's the only issue with this card, and it's not like it's an enchantment that lets you draw. So it's counter enchantress, but good synergy for what this deck does. I don't disagree. I mean, I'd be interested to see it. Could be on Oof. Yes. You know what? Honestly, frankly, we should be on Collector Oof now. We should be on Collector Oof now. There was a reason I wasn't running it before, but I agree with you. Run dorks instead of rocks. We're not on any rocks or any dorks for that matter. There's just not enough space. We could make space for those things though. I want to take a fine-tooth comb to this later. I don't. So we're only on. I just took out the 2 CMC ones, but we're only on Utopia Sprawl and Wild Growth. And yes, you can use Arbor Elf to untap those, but like our land base is full of so many non-forest and or just basic type lands that. Obviously, I did just fetch the Savannah, so Arbor Elf has a clear target. I do see the merit. We could do that, Bop. I guess Delighted Halfling, if you're concerned. Name your favorite dorks and we can probably incorporate them, but right now we're off them and we're doing pretty okay. So we got our draw. We're going to do a Sanctum, and I guess we're going to do Ashes of the Abhorrent, and we'll draw a card. Ooh, got to seal off that. Seal is fine. You know, honestly, it's just a cheeky way of doing the same thing as like a Nature's Claim. But it's nice that you just have it on command, so hopefully they forget. If willing to cut other lands, you could go 3 of each snow basics and run on thin ice. I like on thin ice. Yeah, so I would need to look at the lands more carefully. I think you probably just keep the rainbow lands and remove some of the other additional duels outside of the Shock and the Savannah, and then you could technically incorporate snow basics. Excuse me. And on thin ice specifically requires a snow basic is why this is being suggested this way. Would exile target creature and put controls until it leaves the battlefield. So this is kind of like a temporary swords for the deck. It's fine. Hope Tender is a similar card to Arbor Elf, but it costs 1 mana to activate. Hope Tender. Let's see if I remember this card. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a little costly. I agree though that this is a nice tutorable solution to untap your thicker lands. Thanks, James. Sneak peek. Can I click on the sneak peek? What's in the sneak peek? Oh no, I can't click on this. Thanks, James. I appreciate it. Didn't have to do that, but now I can buy my Hope Tender. I can buy all the Hope Tenders. Let's move on from here. No more Underworld Breach for you, and we'll start our next turn. Sylvan Tutor, you say? Okay, so right now, yeah, James, take care. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. And hopefully you walk away with the knowledge of a slightly better Sythis list. This is definitely better than what it was. I can say that much. Is it great? So far, draw mechanically is fine, but it really depends on what you're drawing into. 99 card singleton. I really want to put down the Aura Shards so I can start dictating what's happening with the board. I just don't have a creature to play into this, so it's not great. The Grasp of Fate is probably my best play here if I have nothing else to do with my life. Sanctum, Sarah Sanctum can outright cast this right now. I honestly think that this is just like a Grasp of Fate turn. We draw, hopefully hit a different land. Okay. Honestly, I do want to test Urza's Cave, and like Urza's Cave with Sarah Sanctum is quite good. We can get like our Guy's Cradle, or I think I took Nykthos Shrine. No, Nykthos is still here. Okay. Nykthos with Grasp of Fate, 1, 2, 3, 4 is producing 2 mana. And that's okay. We did just pull a Marsh Flats, but I'm going to put the Urza's Cave down because we don't have anything instant speed, and I don't even want to fake it. Grasp of Fate's hopefully going to help us tempo things out. I did not forget about the Whip Silk on this. I just don't have another white source, although I could get one. I think that I just want to put the Urza's Cave down to remind myself it's an option. I think I'll use this off turn to bounce the Whip Silk, and then we're going to go from there. Okay. Force of Vig. Oh, keep that with the seal over there. Whatever I do, I'm probably going to want to use the Marsh Flats to thin my list before I start drawing again, so we'll do that. Temple Garden, if I'm not mistaken. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. Okay, so we've got options here. We have 1, 2, 3 enchantments, so we're at 3 right now with that. We have 2, way more than that. We've got a couple of enchantments we can play into our Sythis here. Right now, there's no creatures to play. We can Sylvan Tutor something up, though. This is such a weird deck to play. I think Urza's Cave is just a little too cheeky for the list. I don't think you need Urza's Cave in this particular deck, although that's just because I don't have enough creatures for Gaia's Cradle to be viable, and I'm salty. So let's just go ahead and do Sylvan Tutor. I want the next thing I draw to be the best thing. And if I were to draw any creature from this deck, what creature would I draw? Well, if I had Gaia's Touch, it would be 6. I don't. Because what are you tutoring with that? With the I think Eldritch Evolution is the cut for Seed Cradle. Did we not add Seed Cradle in? Oh, we have yet to add. No. Hey, look. So Seed Cradle's in. Seed Cradle's in. Eldritch Evolution just converts. See, this is the thing. Any 1-drop into any of my 3 and under. So it basically hits the whole deck, Derek, but you're not wrong. The way this is built out right now, it's not really hitting anything in particular, anything special. It just hits a utility. But Moonblast Cleric is probably the best thing. An awkward roundabout way to find the enchantment you're looking for. Is Valgavoth's Lair in here? Nibiru. I talked about it at the beginning. I really do want to incorporate it. It's not yet. I do think it could go in here, and probably for Urza's Cave. We'll do that later. So what am I finding with this? Moonblast Cleric. Let's go. Let's just make it easy. Because I don't really have a game plan right now with what my hand is producing. If anything, I guess I could just get another draw effect. I should probably just get another draw effect, knowing that I have Whip Silk right there. What? Why are you mad about this? I'm sorry. Okay. So that goes on top. Let's do, I don't know, a Static Prison? No, let's do the Whip Silk. We'll attach the Whip Silk here. We'll draw. Let us play, oh shit, I can't do that, can I? Well, I can't play Citizen Champion anymore. That hurts. That's more or less fine. Fine. Okay, we'll Static Prison something. Add that to the stack. And draw a card. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 enchantments. So this is floating 2, 3. Might as well enchant Sythis again. Offer some protection, remove something else, and she gets +1/+0. And we have our other enchantress. Neat. Our next turn is going to be really, really interesting. And I want to Aura Shards first. Okay. Rest in peace. My God. Would I be able to post my list in the comments for reference? If you go to the Discord, you can add it to our Discord, or if you were to, I don't think it will let you post a hyperlink anymore. But you're more than welcome to just post, like, copy and paste the actual text-based version. I think that would be beneficial. Don't, put too much effort into it. You can literally just, however it grabs it from whatever editor you're using, please just do that. But I'd be interested in seeing it for sure. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're kind of shy of green sources. That's what's really hurting us right now. Between the two, the Argothian Enchantress is the easiest one to go for. Man, this is a really good foil. It's digital foil I got. We'll play the Argothian Enchantress. Cool. Love it. Love to see it. Okay, so I could technically play the Aura Shards first. I should probably do that, shouldn't I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we've got 4 mana left from that. So Aura Shards lets us draw. We'll use 1 in this remaining green to play her. We'll blow something up. And then we have 3 mana remaining. We'll play the Rest in Peace. This is just going to exile all the things we're destroying with this. We don't have any more green sources, sadly, and we don't have any more white spells to cast, and we don't have anything to do with the excess floating mana, of which I think I have 2. Oh, hey. I keep forgetting it does that when I'm attached to Apple. Yeah, what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It was 2 white mana on this, 3 of 1. I think I have 1 white mana left after Rest in Peace. Yeah, okay, cool. We'll cast Esper Sentinel. If we're allowed to just keep this board, that's incredible. I don't know if that's going to be the case. List is in your Discord. Thanks, Derek. We can continue, but we're really just trying to find a solution at this point. So yeah, I think this is fine. I want to overview the deck really briefly. I don't mind the idea of Marvin at all. I want to come back to some of these suggestions, though. I do think that we can incorporate some 1 mana dorks. Initially, with this list, you can kind of get to Sythis really easily by turn 2, no matter what. You don't really need a dork to help you do that, but I understand that the dorks help you have mana to do things on future turns. Despite having a pretty good amount of enchantments in this list, I do feel like it can falter if you just don't hit the right cards. Like with the first playtest we had there, whether or not it was in a vacuum, we just didn't have any enchantments to play into our deck. The second game was going much better. Anytime I see a starting hand with Flickering Ward or Whip Silk, I know I'm going to be in good shape. And those are never really prime targets for removal unless they really care about stopping the Sythis deck, which is not really the case. But thank you, Derek, for sharing that. I never felt good using Urza's Cave. Yeah, no. Knight of Reliquary felt better. Probably synergies with 6. I like Knight of the Reliquary too. I don't know if that's on my sideboard. I have the elf that searches up lands, but we can just add Knight of the Reliquary on the sideboard. And let's go ahead and add some dorks as well. Because I do want to refine this, and I want to keep playtesting it off camera. But Knight of the Reliquary is a Selesnya creature that will help you find lands. I think you sacrifice a land to find a land. It just really doesn't want to show up. There you go. Urza's Cave is going to get cut for sure. And what did I say I was going to cut it for? I want to cut it for Valgavoth's Cave. Oh my god, Urza's Cave, where are you? Oh, I'm on the sideboard. That explains everything. Okay, Urza's Cave, Urza's Cave. Blam. Nope, no. We'll keep the Trickster's Elf. We'll add in, no. Valgavoth's Lair. Okay. Yeah, holler. Any dorks you would want to incorporate. Arbor Elf is already on the sideboard. We don't need to include that. I don't know why I don't have Birds of Paradise at least on the sideboard, but we'll obviously add that. Birds of Paradise. We'll also add the Delighted Halfling is probably a good option. Weathered Wayfarer is a great way to search up lands too. This is an oldie and a goldie. Used to have the original Onslaught foil of this. I don't know if I still have this one, but this card is sick. So if you have less lands, how does it work? Play this ability only if your opponent controls more lands than you. So yeah, you pay a white, search your library for a land, reveal, put it into your hand. I found that this is a little slow, but it's not bad. Like if you're missing your land drop, it feels bad to have to pay 1 into this, but it's not horrible. Touch of Spirit Realms in Retribution. It should be. Hope so. There's also Withered Wayfarer lets you fetch a land. It lets you get Boseiju in hand and use it as removal too. It's not a bad idea. It's a little slow. It's a little predictable, but I don't disagree. It's not bad. I'll add it to the sideboard. Weathered Wayfarer. We can just review the deck in a second, though. Those are all the dorks I added, though, to the sideboard. So right now, I also like Mana Bloom. Is anyone else on Mana Bloom? Like, I feel like this is a decent card. Like, when you, like the turn I just had, where you just have excess mana floating, it's kind of nice to be able to leverage this as a piggy bank. And then obviously, you know, you can only use the removal for, you can only use the second effect once each turn, which is sort of a hiccup. But I kind of like this as just a repeatable enchantment. And I like the fact that it's also on upkeep. I actually do, because it gives you the opportunity to cast it that same turn. I guess at end of turn would technically be better, but I don't know. Mana Bloom is maybe I'm a little iffy on. It could probably be cut. It's just a nice way to store excess mana, but love the Weather Wayfarer. I have it in Lotho and Tyam. Yeah, I used to use Weathered Wayfarer in Teshar, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think there's ever been space for it in Oswald because the deck actually operates pretty quickly. Here, the deck is operating pretty slow, though, so I could see us going back to Weathered Wayfarer. It also just breathes more life into Survival of the Fittest. If it's just in our hand and it's not something we need, it's actually quite good into Survival. So, as it stands, the combo lines in the list incorporate having excess mana and doing things with Cloudstone Curio, things with Gaia's Touch, and 6 specifically. And also, you need lands for that, obviously, but it gives you something to do. And then Heliod. All lines lead to Heliod Ballista or just Walking Ballista. I feel like this deck needs another out outside of that. And I think that out, as was suggested, is the... Did I not add it back? I think I added it back, right? The Seed Cradle Witch. Right, so this is our other out. Pending blockers. I think what happens in the situation where you're not able to kill everyone at once is you leave the one person that can deal with you the least, right? Pending any sort of stacks that you might have on the board as well. So I could see Seeded Cradle Witch being the other out in addition to Walking Ballista. So right now it's Devoted Druid and Swift Reconfiguration as a particular win, or Seed Cradle Witch a la Sanctum Weaver, provided you have enough enchantments, which I think you generally will. You need to go at least positive 5 mana. And as you saw there, we kind of hit it pretty quickly. The deck is pretty much 3 CMC and under, so it's not like it's difficult to hit threshold on things like that effect. I love Weathered Wayfarer, Have you looked into Weaver of Harmony? Yeah, Weaver of Harmony we looked at. It's the green creature from Neon Dynasty. I'll leave it on the screen. We did take a look at it. I get the Soul Cauldron in. That way any creature can be Walking Ballista if it somehow ends up in the yard. No, I didn't add... Excuse me. I didn't add Act the Soul Cauldron, but I don't think that's a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. Do you guys prefer that over just, like, doing the old-fashioned, like, Eternal Witness or something like that? I mean... We're also on Rest in Peace, so that kind of does stunt things like Agatha's Soul Cauldron, but it's 1 in 1. The probability of me seeing one is the same as the other, so like you'll want to play for the Soul Cauldron if anything. Not that it can be a considered play because it's hard to find in the deck. I like where the list is at. I want to temper it though. Find what can be removed. I think that we're not putting enough hate on the board early, and I would like to fix that. Because I think the deck needs to be by turn 2 minimally, at least having something to hate the board. Slow the game down enough to where I can play it at the pace she wants to go. Soul Cauldron doesn't do enough. I think it's an interesting utility, but yeah, you know what's weird? Like, I like the card a lot, but I've yet to find a deck that really wants it. That I would personally play. I don't know that this list wants it either, but that doesn't mean it's a bad card. But yeah, guys, after this, feel free to leave in the comments, or if you join the Discord, your thoughts on Sythis, any sort of play lines that you think are best for the deck, or combos to include that aren't present here. Obviously, we were working off a list that was 3 years old. So thanks for taking a trip down memory lane with me. I really do like this deck. Again, the way I utilized it before, we almost always just went to beat street with a mass of tokens. Those games can take long though, so it's not for everyone. It's very pod dependent on who has the tolerance to deal with those kind of games. How many activated abilities do we have? That is a good question. And do you mean specifically on creatures? I guess one, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to do enough here. But yeah, guys, thanks for joining me on this one. I am going to relax for the rest of the evening. I'll see you next week. We should be touching on... Well, okay, so I don't know if you guys saw the spoils of the Marvel integration into MTG, the Universes Beyond. But I am attending Comic-Con this year, and I'm going Saturday. I know Marvel's booth is having an announcement about the MTG collab, I believe Friday. I've never been to a Comic-Con. My hope is that those spoils we saw with Black Panther, Wolverine, Captain America, and specifically Iron Man will be there. I would love, as a Oswald lover, to build Iron Man, because it's virtually that, but an is it, and extremely menacing looking. Although I gotta say, the lack of Jeweled Lotus and Mana Crypt makes me a little put off from trying Iron Man, especially in Is It, but you've got rituals in there. At any rate, my hope is to pick those cards up while I'm attending, and then obviously build some of them out. I think it would be fun to build Wolverine casually, but I could totally see Iron Man being a competitive list. If we can get those, obviously, I don't think they're going to be officially announced. What I was going to say is that next week I would love to brew Iron Man, or at least work on it. I guess we could just get a stand-in and just have the image up on screen, but that is something I would like to work on. We know the card exists, if those spoils were real, and I think they were. But we can talk about those later. Soul Cutter doesn't work with Devoted Druid, by the way. The counters cancel it. Yeah. Jeff on that. Very accurate. But guys, if there's anything you would want to brew next week, let me know from any new sets or any previous sets. Obviously, the meta's changed quite a bit with the banning of Dockside, Mana Crypt, and Jeweled Lotus, and until things get unbanned or change, I think that there's space to develop and work on older lists that might have not had as good a time in the current meta with how fast it went. But guys, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for hanging with me. Peace. I never say peace. What's that about? Michael Thornton. Were you here the whole time, Michael? Weaver of Harmony. Thanks to the people that drop at least a comment every now and then. I appreciate that. Transdemon came in with all the lands. Yeah, Chris, thanks for tuning in. I'm still here. I really just want to take a further look at this deck, because I like where we put it, but I'm not satisfied with where it's at. I think Ashes of the Abhorrent can go. Could probably just go. Looking forward to watching the parts I missed. Yeah, there was just a lot of conversation about a lot of enchantments, and I can't help but feel I missed something. Like, I can't help but feel there's a combo in there I'm missing. At any rate. My wife's like, is he gonna ever leave that room?